But do you know what a good deal looks like? Hey, Chris Zuiker with Media Options, help companies to acquire the raw, unfiltered version of brand. The best domains on the planet. Check that out over at MediaOptions.com. My thought today is this: like if a deal came and smacked you upside the head, would you even know if it was a good deal or not? Like, have you done your due diligence? I talk a lot in my podcast, my videos, my blogs about the 7 dimensions to a domain name, like how a domain name impacts a brand, from global positioning to industry positioning to branding to marketing to SEO to email security to the ability to pivot. Okay, the 7 dimensions to a domain name. Most of the time in the domain names we're brokering, and all of the time for some companies, like the domain that we're brokering and the price that we have set for our domain names, like it's worth like 2, 3, 5, maybe 10x what the domain, like what they're asking for. Now, let me give you a story, okay? So we're brokering one domain name. It was a one-word domain name, and we like had reached out to the market. There was like maybe 3 or 4 companies that was like the perfect fit for. And one company came back, and they were doing about $4 million in sales, mostly on like an Amazon, but they had a great brand, okay? They had a great brand, and like this would have been perfect for their opportunity to scale. And there's another company, another startup that was like getting started. Once again, like they were doing several $1 million in their business. And there's like a lot of other companies that this domain would have been just perfect for. Now, what happened is that the first company came back to us. It looked like it was going to sell. Like we were so close on a price. I think it was maybe $150,000. And we said, hey, great. Like, I think they were at 125. We counted up at 150 at the time. And they like stalled. Okay, so like we're saying, hey, like here's the requirements. Okay, it has to be done through escrow.com. Like you had to accept it immediately. Like jurisdiction for the contract. Just like some minor things. Okay, the major thing that was that they agreed a price and they just lock it in. Now they balked. Okay, and so this other company came in. This other company bought it. They purchased it at 150. And guess what? Like the other company was shocked. Like they were like, seriously, like they were like, they couldn't believe that the domain was sold. And immediately after it sold, they said, hey, we'll give you 175. And I said, I just don't think it's going to happen. Like we just sold it. This other company has like this interest in it. And they said, okay, we'll give you 200,000. I said, okay, well, let's see. So went back to the owner, the new owner of the domain name, and said, hey, like we have this offer for 200,000. Well, you want to sell it. Like you could walk away with a quick $50,000. We'll only charge a very small fee because we got paid on the first side of it. What do you think? And they said, absolutely not. Like unequivocally, no, never are we going to sell this. Like this is integral to our brand. Do you know what a good deal looks like? In this case, I mean, that was a great deal. Like they came back and offered $50,000 more, offered like all the concessions, everything. But because they didn't recognize that, they passed on it. Now, another time this happened to me when we were brokering a domain name, and once again, just happened to be that magical number of 150 for this one-word domain, and it was like the perfect company. Once again, it was like the raw version of their brand. They were using an app like their domain plus app.com, and they had already raised like $5 million. There was several other companies, like big companies. Like it was also like category defining. So I mean, it had like added benefits. And they made an offer. I think they were like in the $100,000 range. And the other buyer, like our buyer was like, our owner's like, I'm not going to do it. Like 150 is the absolute unequivocal bottom. I really want maybe 250 for it. But I'll take that because I've got some other things I can leverage if I get the cash right away. So what happened? What happened is that another company came in, an investor came in, swooped it up because they recognized the good deal. They said, wow, like at that price, like I'll buy it today. And they put down $150,000. They bought the domain name. Now, fast forward 2 months, only 2 months. And guess what? Like this person came back to us, this company came back to us and said, hey, is that domain still available? And I said, no, like we sold it. Like what? Like seriously, like, okay, we want to buy it. Like we'll give you the price. And said, well, okay, we already sold for that price. So you're gonna have to raise your amount. And so they raised their amount to like 175. So went back to the new owner and said, would you be willing to sell it? What's the price? And they said it was $300,000. They weren't going to budge. Like, nah. So what happened? What happened is that this company bought it. They 2 months later, they spent an extra, like twice the amount for their perfect domain name. Now, here's the kicker, okay? They could have locked it in with owner financing. All they had to say is, hey, Chris, why don't we do this? Why don't we put like this down, owner financing, and as soon as we build our business up, like we have an option to buy it over in 12 months, or as soon as we hit our next funding round, we can buy it. And they locked it in. And they didn't do it. You see, they didn't recognize a good deal when they saw one. Now, the flip to this, okay, because I'm not just going to beat up on brands, I'm going to beat up on domain investors. I see it over and over and over again. Like an investor will receive the best offer of their lifetime on their domain name, and yet they pass. Like seriously, like the best offer in their life, like multiples more, maybe 5, 6, 7 times more than a normal offer. And yet what happens is that you get this exuberation. You're like, finally, like my domain has value. I've got this person. And you start looking on all the blogs. You look on Name Bio, and you see that Voice.com sold for $30 million. And you're like, well, hey, if they got that, I can at least get $2 million. And so what happens? You pass. You pass only to never see another offer again. Now, it's interesting because I get beat up for saying this over and over again because it's like, Chris, you're devaluing domain names. You're missing the point. You're missing the point. It's not about devaluation of domain names. Number one, it's about helping companies to truly see the real ROI of a domain name for your brand. I have a 4-step process there. Going over to chriszuiker.com/survey, and you can see that. You can go through my survey, and it'll kind of put you out on the back end with to a domain strategy that's right for your business, along with the ROI. But you're missing the point. It's not about devaluing domain names. It's about every domain has a value. It has like this sweet spot. Like it has like what a good deal is. And yet most people don't do the time to really recognize that. They don't do the time to recognize how they can leverage this and make money somewhere else. And so they pass on either owning their brand only to see another company acquire it. I mean, it's truly, I believe, one of the biggest risks that a startup has. That a startup has to their brand, their ability to scale. Because the other brand comes in, like I talk about over and over again with Kraken and Kraken Rum, this other brand comes in, the momentum gets behind them, and before you know it, your messaging is drowned out, okay? The compounding effect that you have to your brand is drowned out. You spent maybe millions of dollars in advertising like Kraken Rum, and yet guess what? Like, it's like direct response. It's in and it's out. It's in and it's out. There's not this compounding impact, okay? There's not this elevation to what we call brand equity. And that's what owning your domain name is about. So what's the homework? Listen, do your homework. If you're a brand, go to chriszuiker.com/survey. Check it out. Like, find out what I think the strategies are in my experience. I've over 150,000 contact points now I've talked to and worked with some of the best and brightest startups in the world, the best and brightest CMOs in the world. Check that out. And if you're a domain investor, going over to chriszuiker.com/domain-name-value, or just type it in, domain name value. You can look at it on my YouTube here. I'll put a link in the comment section here. Check that out, because that's going to give you the formula that I use for domain value, like how to price your domain name. So you can recognize what a good deal is. Like, you have to educate yourself. It doesn't just happen. It doesn't just happen. I mean, rarely does it just happen. Okay, I'm going to end this video here. Hope you enjoyed it. Go on over to those two sections. Also, go on over to the next video. Look down below. It's chriszuiker.com. It's the domain name value video. I think you'll find that interesting on either side of the equation where you're on. And check that out. And share this up. Give it a like button if you liked it. You just got done listening to another episode of .com Strategies. Check us out online at chriszuiker.com and at mediaoptions.com.